Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Get Parents to Buy into Safety. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us as we chat about ways to lessen the burden on staff when it comes to managing unexpected events, and also how to strengthen existing processes through engagement with the families that you serve. So we hope that you'll have some new tips and resources that you can take back and share with your teams by the end of our 30 minutes together today. So before we get started, I'm just going to introduce today's presenters. So my name is Michelle. I'm the marketing manager here at EPACT, and I'll be your moderator today. I've been with EPACT since 2016, late 2016. One of my favorite things about this role, aside from getting to work with an amazing team and pretty much every single person in this amazing team, is helping to educate our community, our audience, the families and organizations that we work with about safety, emergency preparedness, and also the impact that a company like EPACT has on both of those areas for organizations and also the families and individuals that they serve. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by my fantastic colleague Wagner, who's going to take you through our presentation shortly. Wagner has been part of the EPACT sales team since 2016. We started just a few months apart, and Wagner works really closely with recreation organizations across the United States and Canada to help them enhance safety and security for participants while they're in their care. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, Wags.
No worries. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all today, and I look forward to sharing some ideas with you guys.
Awesome. So in case anyone's unfamiliar, a little bit about EPACT. We're an online emergency network that helps youth recreation organizations move things like paper medical forms, and I'm sure you're all familiar with those, waivers and consents, and then other documentation like health information, immunization records, etc., into our cloud-based system. So EPACT helps organizations like Parks and Rec departments, YMCAs, and camps, so more under the recreation organization banner there, as well as sports associations and even schools, helps them meet legislative requirements around the collection and management of health and personal information. And it also provides secure access to critical information when it's needed the most. So in an emergency like either a medical incident, an injury, or something more widespread like an earthquake or a flood. So if you're interested in learning more, you can visit our website anytime at your convenience, or you can connect directly with us via email or phone. But we'll make sure you have those details at the end of the webinar, and I won't take up any more time from our learning this morning. So a couple of the standard housekeeping items for the webinar today. It's actually being recorded, so everyone will get a copy of the recording and also the slides as well once we're done. So you can either review anything that you might have missed, you can refresh, you can keep these tips to hand and put them into practice. You can also share them with any team members who might not have been able to join the webinar today, or any peers or other colleagues outside of your organization who might also find this information useful. I hope that you're hearing us nice and clear through your computer or laptop speakers. The audio is web-based. I have put a note in the chat. If you do experience any technical issues throughout the presentation today, then you can reach out directly to our webinar provider. They are fantastic, and they'll support you with any issues that you might have. And talking about chat box, if you have any questions or comments that come up at any point throughout the webinar, please use that chat box to ask them or make those comments. We do have time set aside at the end of the presentation to answer those questions, and if for any reason we don't get to yours live today, we'll be sure to follow up with everybody individually by email once the session is over. You'll either hear from Wagner or myself. And then as the webinar ends, you'll see a short survey pop up on your screen, and we only ask that you take just a few minutes to fill it out. In fact, it'll probably only take you about 30 seconds to do so. It just gives us really valuable feedback so we can help to keep creating relevant content for our audiences and make sure that you come back and hang out with us again in the future. So with all of those fun admin pieces out of the way, I'm going to turn things over to Wagner so he can share more about how to get parents to buy into safety.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. So I guess without any further ado, I wanted to start by looking at some of the key takeaways that we're going to be covering today. When running your programs, whether we're talking about your camps, other activities throughout the year, there are lots of unexpected scenarios that both your staff and participants could experience. I'm talking about natural disasters such as earthquakes, flooding, medical emergencies, off-site location changes. The list goes on and on. So the key here is to really always be expecting the unexpected. So after today's webinar, we hope to leave you with the following key takeaways here so that you can share with your team and use it as inspiration, whether you're adding new processes there or maybe even updating your existing ones. So we're going to start by, 1, uncovering new ways to provide families with key information so that they're always up to date. 2, understanding the importance of a two-way communication between families and your organization. 3, learning how to involve families so that they're part of your process there. And finally, we're going to be looking at making sure that you have the right tools and processes in place available to increase engagement. So without a doubt, and that really goes without saying, when it comes to their children, families make safety their top priority. And the same should be true for your recreation organization as well, especially when their kids are in your care. So one of the most important things, or one of the most important ways to engage with families in your safety process, is to share information specific to the programs that they're participating in. Everyone loves being informed. It really creates that peace of mind that safety is just as important to your organization as it is for the families as well. So here's a few ways that you can actually share information effectively and also engage your community at the same time. Starting with, include information about safety and security processes on your website so that it's easy for families to find. When you really think about it, your website is probably already a familiar place to the families there. It's likely already the place that they first go to for any extra information or answers to questions that they may have. So continuing to use it as a valuable resource not only keeps things organized for you guys, but also a lot simpler for your staff and the families there as well. Also, if you guys run emergency drills with participants and staff, let everyone know the details of those drills. So drills tend to essentially demonstrate that you're taking a serious role in safety and that you're doing everything that you can to prepare for emergencies or disasters. So you might even want to consider families to volunteer, and that way you have a more clear they would have a more clear idea of what to expect if a drill becomes a real situation. Practice will really make it perfect there. So in an emergency situation, knowing exactly what to do, not only for your staff but for the families, can really reduce stress and the chaos that would come with a challenging situation. As I mentioned before, your website is probably going to have a big impact on where you direct your families for detailed information, but adding simplified versions of safety information and processes to your registration packets and other communications like your blog, social media, or even posters that you have around your community center can give families easily and digestible information on a regular basis. And this also keeps messaging and communication essentially consistent across all of your channels there. Also, make it easy for families to share their safety process information with emergency contacts. So for example, if mom is late to pick up the kids or can't be reached in an unexpected situation, making sure that the grandma or nanny or a family friend knows how to help, and also that person's registered as an emergency contact, can help the family and your team. So this not only will ensure that the participants are picked up in a timely manner, but it will also make sure that they only go home with someone that the family has previously authorized. Also, depending on the activities and programs that your organization may host, there might be some specific training or certifications that is required for your staff. This is great information to share with families as well so that they know that their kids are in the care of experts, trained experts there, no matter what they're doing. So whether you're looking at first aid or CPR, I know many organizations, maybe some of your departments there, require this as a standard there, but even program certifications like lifeguard or aquatics, training for playground or daycare supervision. When families know that your staff is well prepared, it goes a long way to maintaining their peace of mind. Also, try to leverage as many channels as possible, like special events, community fairs, online resources, and even participation booklets that kids can take home to their families. So finding additional ways to share information keeps it top of mind and consistent for families. So providing them with opportunities to continue to educate themselves and encourage them to ask questions as they may arise. Up next, I wanted to talk about the two-way communication. It's awesome to being able to send out an email sending out a text, or however you would like to communicate with family, but you want to make sure that that communication goes two ways. You want to make sure that parents also have the ability of communicating back with you guys. So as you provide information to your families there in any of the ways that we just discussed, it might be enough to answer most questions, but there might be times when parents have something specific to ask, whether it's about a program, maybe about an activity that they're registered for, maybe something in regards to your facilities and so forth. So whatever that question is, make sure that families have a way to connect with you so that your staff can quickly and easily address that, and in a way that's familiar and convenient to them as well. So one of the ways you guys can do that is by adding a form to your website. That way families can ask questions at any time that's convenient for them, especially if they're doing it outside office hours. Even though your staff doesn't have to be there to reply to these messages as they arrive late at night, make sure that there's someone available to check and respond to these submissions regularly in a timely manner. And as an added option, what you might want to do is to also include a drop-down menu on your website so that specific questions can go to the specific or more appropriate person or staff member on your team. For example, if we're looking at a medical question, you may want that question to be directed to your nurse. Or if you're looking at a program safety question, you may want that question to go to a program lead. So not only this will reduce the volume for any of individuals on your team, but it also means that family can get specific answers to their questions from an expert much faster as well. I would also recommend creating an email address that's specific for answering parents' questions so that families can communicate with your staff at their convenience and provide as much details as they would like. For times when your administration offices are closed, consider having an automated response, which can serve as basically a confirmation that your message has been received and that they know when to expect to hear back from you. And that may mean 3 business days for some of you guys, 48 hours, whatever applies to your department there. Next, try to provide a phone number or a dedicated extension that families can call. You may want to set specific hours in which families can reach someone live, or set it up as a voicemail sort of service where families can leave a message and a staff member, whoever's available, can respond quickly to these questions as these questions come in. This might take some phone pressure off your front desk as well, especially during busy registration periods or times where families are arriving to start a program or activity, meaning that families will be getting the answers that they need in a timely manner. Also, don't forget that social media is a great communication tool if you guys are using it. I hope you all are. It works really well to essentially amplify existing messages or existing messaging that you may already have on your website, program guides, or even registration packets. I know there's so many social media networks nowadays. Don't feel like you have to use them all. I know it can be overwhelming even to the best of us, but choose the one that works best to your department there. Choose the one that works best to reaching your families and use it as an extra way to communicate with them. And also use it as a way for them to communicate with you. So encourage them to ask questions, share feedback, and even provide suggestions for additional safety processes there. So, because in the end of the day, you never really know what you can learn from parents as well. Just always make sure that there's someone available to monitor your social media there and reply to these parents so that they're not waiting for an answer or they feel like they've been ignored by you guys. Next up, I have a quick question here for you guys. I wanted to see who's ready to hire the best part-time employees of all time. Yes, I'm talking about parents. So let's talk about giving parents a job. Think of this as a homework or a mission that families can share with you, work on this together with you. It's a great idea to get parents involved and be part of the process with their children and your staff. That way, they can have a better understanding of what your staff does to basically ensure safety of their children while they're in your care. It also gives them the opportunity to chat with their children ahead of time to set expectations accordingly as well. So start by encouraging parents to talk with their kids so that they understand the safety requirements of any of the programs that they're participating. So say they're joining a swimming class in the summer, make sure that they know not to enter the water without an adult or to not swim alone. If they're going on a hike, make sure that they know the importance of maybe staying with the group and having the right equipment such as hiking boots, weather-appropriate clothing, and so forth. Also, it's important for participants to know to get an adult in any type of emergency. That's very crucial as well. So share these processes in the process that you would expect participants to follow, and give them to parents so parents can chat about these processes at home with their children. And this also will give time for questions to come up before a program or an activity starts, so that everyone can be as prepared as possible, or maybe even ask these questions ahead of time. Also, make sure that parents and participants know how and where to update emergency contact and medical information. So back to emergency contact, we hear here all the time here at EPACT that a lot of the times parents will list someone as an emergency contact, and that person has no idea that they've been listed as an emergency contact. So this type of information can also change very quickly, so you need to make sure that your staff always has the most up-to-date information to use in case of a crisis. So whether it's updating an emergency contact or an alternative guardian, or changes to an allergy or medication. So just making sure that information stays accurate and current can make all the difference in case of an emergency. So for example, if a child needs to be picked up from camp unexpectedly and a parent can't make it, your staff will want to make sure that they're going home with an authorized alternative guardian. So versus someone that is no longer authorized to pick them up, or shouldn't even be picking up that child in the first place. Also, consider recommending families to get first aid and CPR training. I have a quick fact here for you guys. The British Red Cross conducted a research and found out that 8 out of 10 people lack knowledge and confidence to act in case someone collapses or is unresponsible or not breathing. That is a lot of people unable to help in a situation that requires immediate action, immediate attention. So you can see how vital skills these skills such as first aid and CPR can be. These are great life skills to have in any situation, but they can provide a better understanding of and really the support and training that any recreation staff may have, and as well as understanding what to expect in case of an emergency. So you might even want to host these certification programs there. You may want to use one of your facilities there so you can host one of these courses, just so that families don't have to find these classes on their own. You make it easier for them to help you as well. So the American Red Cross, I know that for a fact, the American Red Cross hosts several classes a year on life-saving and emergency skills, and so does the Canadian Red Cross and St. John Ambulance for our Canadian attendees today. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is that it's always better to be safe than sorry. So do ask parents to provide extra medication, extra asthma inhalers or equipment such as EpiPens and so forth, and get them to bring them with them when they're attending a program or activity. Also encourage parents to make sure that their children know how and when to use these items properly, which can save you, even if it saves you 5 minutes, these 5 minutes may be the difference between a kid getting the attention, the care that they need, or having to wait for medical personnel to show up. Another point that can really show your commitment to safety and best practices is participating in events throughout the year, like the Great Shakeout Earthquake Drill, Fire Prevention Week, both which happened in October, National Preparedness Month, which happens in September in the U.S., I believe. And there's also a National Preparedness Week in Canada, which I believe it happens in May. So there are often nationwide activities that can take place around these events. I know for Shakeout encourages everyone to drop, cover, and hold on. We do it here at the office, so if you want to see a picture of myself hiding under a table, feel free to do so. Go to our social media page. Also, at any specific time, it will give you the opportunity of involving families with these activities, basically reinforcing the efforts of your organization, the efforts that you're making in order to prepare for unexpected events. These events also provide additional opportunities for drills, practice sessions, all that happening throughout the year. On to the last section here, which is using the right tools. As you guys know, none of this is particularly easy to do without the right equipment, without the right tools. In the end of the day, families are just as busy as you guys are, and sometimes things can get a little more hectic for them as well. So back to school as an example, or the start of summer vacation. So providing parents with the right tools and processes to help them with their kids or with their kids' safety is really important and appreciated. So more and more families assume that this information is accessible online or via cell phone, so help them find what they need as easily and conveniently as possible as well. Do use and leverage your website. Promote direct URLs to key information or online forms across your systems and communication tools, such as your registration program, direct emails, family newsletters, and so on. That way, families basically know where to look for safety information no matter how they hear from you. And the more they know, the better they feel, and the more support you get in case of a crisis. Also make it easy for parents to update information online. Say they get a new cell phone number or there's a new emergency contact that they would like to use. Having up-to-date and correct contact details in an emergency can make a world of a difference to everyone. So having it online will let families update it at any time so that your staff doesn't have to worry about hard to read or maybe something that was handwritten and there's one last manual process for your staff to have to deal with at the end of the day. We do a lot of research here. We did a little research a few years ago and found that in an emergency, it can take up to 5 minutes or more to find information that is on a paper form. And that is assuming that the information is correct. If the information is illegible or incorrect, you can probably add another 5 to 10 minutes there as your staff tries to find the right information. Furthermore, if your recreation or member management system, your registration system there, can do so, you might want to add snippets or pieces of information throughout the registration process that will give families a little bit of information, relevant information to the action that they're taking, the program that they're registering for. So say they're choosing a program or activity that they want to sign up for. You can include a piece of safety information for that one specific program, perhaps a detail of your process or something for families to consider just as they're signing up so they're in a loop. Also make sure that families know how to notify your organization or program staff in case of new health or safety concerns, especially if we're talking about a program that has already started. You want to make sure that your staff is informed of any of these changes as soon as they happen, really. Also having a system for urgent updates and communications to program leaders can be critical for the safety and well-being of your participants there. And it means that you can provide the right information to the right medical personnel at the right time in case of an emergency as well. All right, so in a nutshell, for everyone, as you can see, there are lots of ways to engage with families and get them on board with your safety processes. I'm sure we haven't covered every single one of these processes or every single one of these possibilities here. So if you have any additional ideas or anything like that, please share them with us. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and there might be also some people here on the webinar today that could benefit from that too. Also keep in mind that no matter how you engage with your families, the important thing is that you're actually doing it. So find common ground, find what the best tools are, what the best channels are, and do leverage them so that you can leverage those in your advantage. There's nothing wrong with providing additional information or more information than is needed. That way you have an open communication channel and it creates value for the programs that you serve. All right, guys, so we're coming close to the end of our time here. I wanted to thank you all so much for joining me on our safety chat. I'm going to hand things back to Michelle here for any questions that you may have. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wagner. I think we had some great ideas there, as Wagner mentioned. I'm sure we haven't covered everything, but I do hope that everybody found value in the session today. And then you've got some great tips and tricks to, if nothing else, at least think about and discuss with your teams later today. So as promised, we have a little bit of time left over for questions. So I have a couple to go through. And as said, if any other questions come in as we close out here, we'll be sure to follow up with everyone directly via email. I do promise to get to everybody's questions. So first one, what types of drills do you recommend we hold throughout the year? Drills depend a lot on your individual organization. Whether you're hosting camps, various activities, programs, the facilities that you operate also are going to have an impact on the drills that you hold, and also the programs and activities themselves. Also, as where you're located in the country too is going to impact the types of drills that you consider, the types of preparedness training that you might want to have. So for example, if you're in an area that's prone to earthquakes, like we are here in the Pacific Northwest, that makes up a really big part of our emergency preparedness plans. Understanding how to respond to an earthquake, if for those who are maybe in an earthquake zone and adding in tsunami preparedness too. If you're in an area that's prone to flooding, and to be honest, that could actually be anywhere in North America, especially at this time of year. Again, understanding how best to deal with that risk, you'll want to have drills that are specific to those particular situations. If you host off-site programs, for example, you might want to have drills to accommodate being out in the open. If you have like an outdoor camp, for example, or if you're literally away from your own buildings, having something that allows for a little bit of flexibility so that you can prepare for those as much as possible. Also, if you have a various number of buildings in your facility, not every building is going to be exactly the same. There's going to be different ways to get in and out of the building. There's going to be very different layouts to each one. So you might also want to have one that's specific to each space in your organization's facilities as well. And then in addition to those, having actual preparedness training. So again, based on those varying scenarios and various risks to your region, also making sure that everybody knows where to find their emergency kits or their first aid supplies, again, depending on what building they happen to be in at the time, or any other equipment that might be specific to your region, location, organization, all of the above again. So again, a lot of drills, a lot of possibilities, but it's really important to just take stock of where you are and where you have and host your programs. One other question that's come in, often parents or children become very scared even at the mention of a drill. Are there steps to reassure them and help them stay calm? We understand that preparing for emergencies is it's not the most positive thing to think about. So we find that if you're starting to host regular drills, as Wagner mentioned, we practice regularly the drop, cover, and hold as part of like the earthquake drills that happen once a year. And we do have a lot of fun doing it. We make it a company-wide thing. We all stop working. We take pictures as we do it. So it's one of those things that can be a little bit of a challenge up front. You don't want to cause alarm, but the more that you're doing these drills and the more that you're hosting them, the more information that you're sharing with parents ahead of time, it's like having insurance. It's one of those things that you prepare for and you practice for and you hope that you never have to use it. But as you do those drills and you make them more commonplace, they become that much less scary and concerning for parents. And honestly, I feel that parents are probably going to be more into knowing that you're preparing for safety ahead of time, and that instills confidence in them so that in the event that it's not a drill and that it is a real emergency, that your team and your staff are like really well prepared to handle that. So I hope that answers your question, but as I said, feel free to reach out if you had any more. So in the interest of time, we're coming to the bottom of the hour, so I want to be respectful of the half hour that we set aside for everyone today, but I also want to make it easy for anyone to reach out to us if you would like to. So you can reach us you can visit our website, you can reach out to us directly by email, or you can contact us by phone, whatever is easiest for you if you have any questions or you'd like to learn more about EPACT as a service as well, and how EPACT can support your organization's safety processes in anything that you're doing, whether it's for individual camps, programs, or your organization as a whole. Another quick reminder, we do have a survey that will pop up just as we close out the session here today. It'll probably take you no more than 20 or 30 seconds to just give us some feedback, and also let us know if there are other topics that you might like to hear about and learn from in the future as well. So other than that, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you all so much for joining myself and Wagner today, and we hope to see you again on a future webinar. Thanks so much, everyone.